Lorraine is one of the 27 regions of France. The administrative region has two cities of equal importance, Metz, the regional prefecture, and Nancy. Lorraine's name is derived from the medieval kingdom of Lotharingia, which in turn was named for either Emperor Lothair I or King Lothair II. As a region in modern France, Lorraine consists of the four departments Meurthe-et-Moselle, Meuse, Moselle and Vosges, and contains 2,337 communes. Lorraine maintains nearly half of France's border with Germany, and also borders Belgium and Luxembourg. History. Lorraine's borders have changed much in its long history. In 840, Charlemagne's son Louis the Pious died, and the Carolingian Empire was divided among Louis' three sons by the Treaty of Verdun of 843. The Middle Realm, known as Middle Francia, went to Lothair I, reaching from Frisia in northern Germany through the Low Countries, eastern France, Burgundy, Provence, northern Italy, and all the way down to Rome. On the death of Lothair I, Middle Francia was divided in three by the Treaty of Prague in 855, with the northern third called Lothringe and going to Lothair II. Due to the circumstance of Lothringe being sandwiched between East and West Francia, it was decided that it should semantically consider itself as a duchy from 870 onward, such that the duchy could ally and align itself nominally as part of either Eastern or Western Carolingian kingdoms in order to survive and maintain its independence. This artifice allowed it to be a duchy in name and an independent kingdom in reality. In 870, it allied itself with East Francia while remaining an autonomous duchy. In 962, when Otto the Great restored the empire, Lorraine became an autonomous duchy within the Holy Roman Empire until 1766, after which it became annexed under succession law to France, via derivative aristocratic house alliances. Though the succession within these houses in tandem with other historical events would have later restored Lorraine's status as its own duchy, a vacuum in leadership was caused by its Duke for a section while Stephen de Lorraine taking the throne of the Holy Roman Empire, and his brother Prince Charles Alexander of Lorraine becoming governor of the Austrian Netherlands and deciding for political reasons to hide the heirs not born of his first deceased wife Archduchess Maria Anna of Austria. This vacuum in leadership, the French Revolution, and the political results and changes issuing from the many nationalistic wars that followed in the next 130 years ultimately resulted in Lorraine becoming a permanent part of the modern Republic of France, albeit after coming under brief German control several times as a result of later wars. While Lorrainian separatists exist, their political power and influence is considered negligible, with Lorraine independence entailing more of an independent cultural identity rather than one with tangible clout for real political independence. With enlightened leadership and at a crossroads between French and German cultures, Lotharingia experienced tremendous economic, artistic, and cultural prosperity during the 12th and 13th centuries under the Hohenstaufen emperors. Along with the rest of Europe, this prosperity was terminated in the 14th century by a series of harsh winters, bad harvests, and the Black Death. During the Renaissance, a flourishing prosperity returned to Lotharingia until the 30 Years' War. From 1766 onward, the whole Lorraine became part of France. The population was mixed, but the north of Lorraine was largely Germanic, speaking Germanic Lorraine Franconian and other Germanic dialects. Strong centralized nationalism had only begun to replace the feudalist system which had formed the borders. But the insurrection against the French occupation influenced much of the early identity. From 1871, the German Empire regained a part of Lorraine. The department formed part of the new imperial state of Alsace-Lorraine, which created a revanchist movement in France as well. The administration strongly discouraged the French language and culture over High German, which became the administrative language, and the only language in schools in those Lorrainese areas considered to be rather Germanophone, an often arbitrary categorization. Only in municipalities definitely considered Francophone, such as Car-Saint-Salins and the surrounding arrondissement, the French language remained in usage in elementary and secondary schools and in local administration. However, after 1877 higher education, such as in state-run colleges, universities and teacher seminaries, was exclusively offered in German language. The prevalence of German and the partial usage of French, though restricted, was guaranteed by the 1911 Constitution of Alsace-Lorraine. So while many toponyms of Germanic etymology in Lorraine were adapted in their form to the High German standard, also a number of genuine Francophone toponyms remained untouched, unlike during the Nazi occupation when more or less arbitrary German translations or new creations replaced original names, such as Car-Cento-Salins, which was then renamed as Salzburg and Lothringen. In the 1919 Versailles Treaty, the Empire suffered severe territorial losses, including the captured Lorraine territory it had included in its Alsace-Lorraine. With the exception of a period of German occupation and unilateral de facto annexation in the Second World War 1940 to 1944, the area has since remained a part of France. During the war, one of its heraldic emblems, the Lorraine Cross, was the symbol of Free France. Development of the borders of Lorraine in modern history. The administrative region of Lorraine is larger than the historical Duchy of Lorraine, which gradually came under French sovereignty between 1737 and 1766. The modern region includes provinces and areas that were historically separate from the Duchy of Lorraine proper. These are, Barrois, 3 bishoprics, non-contiguous territories around Metz, Verdun, and Toul, which were detached from the Holy Roman Empire in the 16th century and came under French sovereignty. Several small principalities which were still part of the Holy Roman Empire at the time of the French Revolution. Some people consider the traditional province of Lorraine as limited to the Duchy of Lorraine proper, while other people consider that it includes Barrois and the 3 bishoprics. The problem is that this Duchy of Lorraine was originally the Duchy of Upper Lorraine, and did not include the entire area called Lorraine. The case of Barrois is the most complicated. The western part of Barrois, known as Barrois-Mevant, was detached from the rest of Barrois in the early 14th century and passed under French sovereignty. On the other hand, the largest part of Barrois was the Duchy of Bar, part of the Holy Roman Empire, which was united with the Duchy of Lorraine in the 15th century by the marriage of the Duke of Bar, Reina Copyright I of Naples, with the daughter of the Duke of Lorraine, Isabella. Thus the Duchies of Bar and Lorraine were united in personal union under the same duke, although formally they maintained separate existences until their incorporation into France in 1766. During the French Revolution, 4 departments were created on the main parts of the territories of Barrois, 3 bishoprics in the Duchy of Lorraine, Meuse, Moselle and Vosges. After 1870 some parts of Moselle and Meuse became German and the parts that stayed French formed the new Meurthe-et-Moselle. After 1918 Moselle became French again. When the French regions were created in the middle of the 20th century, it was decided to gather Meurthe-et-Moselle, Meuse, Moselle and Vosges into a single region known as Lorraine. Geography. Lorraine is the only French region to have borders with 3 other countries, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Germany. It also borders the French regions of Franche-Comté copyright, Champagne-Ardenne, which were at times part of historical Lorraine Lotharingia, and Alsace, which, while still part of Lorraine's identity, is now a separate administrative region. The location of Lorraine led to it being a paramount strategic asset as the crossroads of 4 nations. This, along with its political alliances, marriage alliances, and the ability over the centuries to choose sides between East and West, gave it a tremendously powerful and important role in transforming all of European history, and indeed breed with royal families over all of Europe, play kingmaker, and seat rulers on the thrones of the Holy Roman Empire and Austro-Hungarian Empire, Austria-Hungary, and others. Most of the region forms part of the Paris Basin, with a plateau relief cut by river valleys presenting cuestas in the north-south direction. The eastern part is sharper with the Vosges Mountains. Many rivers run through Lorraine, including Moselle, Meuse, and Meuse. Most of them are on the Rhine drainage basin. Lorraine has an oceanic climate with continental influences. Language and culture. Most of Lorraine has a clear French identity except for the northeastern part of the region, today known as Moselle, which was historically German-speaking. In 1871, Bismarck annexed about a third of today's Lorraine to the German Empire following the Franco-Prussian War. The disputed third, Moselle, had a culture not easily classifiable as either French or German, where both Romance and Germanic dialects were spoken. Like many border regions, Lorraine was a patchwork of ethnicities and dialects which were not mutually intelligible with either French or Standard German. Traditionally, two languages are native to Lorraine. The first is Lorrain, which is a moribund minority Romance language spoken in southeastern Lorraine. The second is Lorraine Franconian, a group of three Franconian dialects independently surviving in northern and western Lorraine. They are referred to collectively as Platite in Franconian or Franchique or Plat in French. Now somewhat rural and isolated, these dialects gradually differ as one travels, though are intelligible. Lorraine Franconian is distinct from neighboring Alsatian, to the south, although the two are often confused. Neither has official status where they are spoken, but Alsatian is far more widely spoken. Technically, Lorraine Franconian is a catch-all term for historically three dialects: Euro-Luxembourgish, Moselle Franconian, and Rhine Franconian, and these are identical to the same dialects spoken in the German Rhineland. Like most of France's regional languages, Lorraine and Lorraine Franconian have been mostly replaced by French in the 19th and 20th centuries as a direct result of nationalistic policies that public schooling be in French only. However, there are efforts underway to revive Lorraine Franconian, whose linguistic vitality is still relatively high. Recent efforts include the use of bilingual signage in Franconian areas, and Franconian language classes for young children whose parents do not speak it. Cross of Lorraine. During World War II, the cross was adopted as the official symbol of the Free French forces under Charles de Gaulle. The Capitaine de Corvette Thierry d'Argenlier suggested the adoption of the Cross of Lorraine as the symbol of the Free French. In his General Order No. Degree 2 of July 3, 1940, Vice Admiral Emperor Muselier, then Chief of the Naval and Air Forces of the Free French for only 2 days, created the bow flag displaying the French colors with a red Cross of Lorraine, and a cockade also featuring the Cross of Lorraine. De Gaulle is memorialized by a gigantic 44.3-meter-high Cross of Lorraine at his home village of Colombey-les-Deux-Permilguzes. Cuisine. The use of the potato in Lorraine can be traced back to 1665 and it is used in various traditional dishes of the region such as the pot à copyright Lorraine. The Bray potato, which takes its name from the village of Bray in the north of the Meuse, is considered to be excellent by experts due to the perfect conditions of the area. Smoked bacon is also a traditional ingredient of the cuisine of Lorraine. It is used in various traditional dishes of the region, including the famous quiche Lorraine. The mirabelle plum of Lorraine is the emblematic fruit of Lorraine. It is used in pies and other desserts, as well as in alcoholic beverages. Traditional dishes in the region include quiche Lorraine, parcentar copyright Lorraine, pot à copyright Lorraine, ondawi. Some cheeses come from Lorraine, Cara copyright de l'Est, Brouillerie, Munster Gar copyright Roma copyright. Desserts include madeleine, macaron, rhubarbe, plombières ice cream, various pie recipes, beverages, wine. The most well-known wine of the region is the Cartester Toul. There are vineyards in the valley of the Moselle, the valley of Say, the valley of Metz, and the valley of Sailloc. Beer. Historically, Lorraine was the location of many breweries, including the Champignons founded on June 20, 1897. Traditions. Lorraine has an old Catholic heritage and almost every village has its church, even if many don't have a dedicated priest anymore. Church bells, which announce Angelus time, stop tolling during the Holy Week. They are replaced by children who use ratchet while saying Kislanger copyright Lass. After Easter, they go from house to house and receive some little presents. Sinterklaas is celebrated in Lorraine. Housing. Except for dispersed settlement in the Vosges Mountains, traditional farms display linked houses, forming linear village. They are built quite far from the road. The area between the house and the road is called Lissoira, fr. Until the 1970s, the usoir was used to store farming tools, firewood or even manure. Today they are generally used as a garden or for car parking. Furniture developed a specific identity after the 30 Years' War, the Lorraine style. Economy. At €44 billion, Lorraine generates 3.4% of France's GDP. Despite ranking 11th in population, it ranks 8th in GDP out of the 26 regions of France, making it per capita among the top economic producing regions in the country, along with Alsace and Île-de-France. The logistics and service sectors have experienced the strongest growth in recent years, while the traditional industries have experienced a decline. Consequently, the region has experienced major difficulty with rising unemployment, although it is still below the national average. In 1997, the last iron ore mine in Lorraine, which once produced over 50 million tons of iron, was closed. Major communities: Epernay-le-Pinel, Forbach, Luna Copyright-Ville, Metz, Montigny-Loès-Metz, Nancy, Saint-Dié Copyright-des Vosges, Sarreguemines, Vandeuville-Loès-Nancy, Thionville, Fauna and Flora, Fauna, Lynx, Fox, Flora, Ash Tree, Beech, Buxus Boxwood, Fern, Geranium, Hornbeam, Lily of the Valley, Maple, Mirabelle, Sage, Spruce, Thistle. Notable Lorrainers, Art and Literature: Jacques Collot, Claude Lorrain, Epernay-le-Mile Erckmann, Alexander Chatrian, Paul Verlaine, Epernay-le-Mile Jules Gala Copyright, Jules Bastien Lepage, Eugenie Vallin, Epernay-le-Mile Durkheim, Victor Prover Copyright, Louis Majorel, Lucien Weissenberger, Epernay-le-Mile Friant, Paul Charbonnier, Henri Berger Copyright, Jacques Gruber, Epernay-le-Mile Andra Copyright, Jean-Marie Straub, Bernard-Marie Coulter S., Philippe Claudel, Georges de Lothair, Economy and Industry, Albert Bergeret, Antonin, Auguste, Military, Godfrey de Bouillon, Georges Mouton, Jean-Baptiste Ibla Copyright, Nicolas Oudinot, Joseph Le Copyright Apoldsai Gisbert Hugo, Louis Hubert Liorti, Charles Mangin, Musicians and Actors, Florent Schmidt, Darry Cow, Charles Copyright La Couture, Tom Novembre, Patricia Cars, Politicians. Pierre-Louis Roederer, Jules Ferry, Raymond Poincaré Copyright, Maurice Barrault S., Albert Lebrun, Robert Schumann, Jack Lang, Religion, Bruno Joachim Dagsberg Pope Leo IX, Henri Gras Copyright Goya, Joan of Arc, Sciences, Charles Messier, Jean Froner Section War Pilar Centre de Rosier, Jean-Victor Poncelet, Charles Hermite, Edmond Laguerre, Henri Poincaré Copyright, Marie Marvingd, Louis-Camille Maillard, Hubert Curien, Sport, Michel Platini, Patrick Battiston, Miscellaneous, Antoine Deville, Raymond Schwartz, Nicolas Chopin, Pierre Gaxot, Pierre Lagarde. See also, Belgian Lorraine, Carte de Toul, List of rulers of Lorraine, Lorraine, Lotharingia, references. Further reading: Putnam, Ruth. Alsace and Lorraine, From Khazar to Kaiser, 58 BC-1871 AD New York, 1915. External links: Lorraine Between War and Art, Memories Lorraine, official French website, site of the Regional Council, A Short Guide to the Lorraine Region and its Main Attractions, My Lorraine FR, Share Your Lorraine, Business in Lorraine.